Hey everybody, welcome to a nice little sort of abbreviated version of the main Big Bluecast stream today. We're gonna kind of just take a little bird's eye view look at everything that's kind of going on right now: college basketball, college football, any just kind of updates from last week since we talked last. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Probably the biggest. Had BJ Boston declared for the draft by the time we had recorded last
No,
time? I don't even remember.
no, we only
Okay.
knew of SAR and one other. Hmm.
Let's see. We can just run through it real quick. We first heard about, like within days, we heard about
Yep.
Fletcher entering the transfer portal. He's gone. Cal pretty much made it clear. Sar's gone. Like he was on a 1 year plan. He's going to go just look at his pro options. He's not coming back. Now Terrence Clark has said he's going to go to the draft and he's hiring an agent, so he's 100% gone. Interestingly enough, Isaiah Jackson declares for the draft, says he's not going to hire an agent, and I know his dad had reached out to some people and made it very clear. He sounded, just really mature and smart on his family's part, just saying like they intended for this to be like a 2-3 year process for him. So him kind of blowing up this year the way he did, it's,
Yeah.
unexpected. So just saying like we're not going to hire an agent yet. We're going to fill out the process and just kind of see what happens. I would imagine he's still going to be gone though. I can't imagine him coming
It
back.
depends.
Um,
Depends where his projection's at. I mean, Kentucky
yeah,
underperformed this year, so and a
yeah.
lot of those,
Like,
a lot of those agents look at that. So
yeah. I mean, like what? Right now he's surefire like first round with potential to be in the lottery. So I'd say if some of these like later projections come out and show him like slipping down towards the bottom of the first round or something like that, then yeah, I could potentially see a scenario where he says, you know what, I'm going to do like a Willie Cauley Stein kind of thing. I don't need to come back, but I'm going to come back so that I'm like a top 10, top
yeah,
15 guy. Especially since like him and his dad, it sounds like have made it pretty clear that that's kind of where they are on the whole process. They're not going to just treat it
they
like
get the most
it's
money for
over
him
and
as
done with.
possible.
Right, because I mean that's huge money difference between if he's like 20 something
Or in the top 10.
in the first round, or if he's in the top 10. Huge. I mean, he could come back for another year and solidify a place in like the top 10 and be set for
Yeah.
life on his first contract. So I mean, I could see it. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just kind of have to see how the draft combine process kind of plays out this year. What all they do and everything. It'll be interesting. But then, of course, BJ Boston announces that he's leaving and hiring an agent, so he's
Yeah, that
surefire
didn't
gone.
surprise me.
Yeah, no, like really, I don't think there's much of anything. I would have been surprised if he decided to come back.
I'd have been happy if
Um,
he would have, because I think he would have. I think it would
I
have
would have
played
been
out better
happy
for
too.
everybody, him and us. But
Oh yeah. In my head, I was kind of projecting for for myself that he would probably do the Isaiah Jackson way and declare not hire an agent yet. But it sounds like from everything you read and listen to and everything, it sounds like him and his people, his family, his inner circle, pretty much had their minds made up coming into the year. He's going to be a 1 year guy. Like that's it. We're doing 1 year Kentucky. He's moving on. So, wish him the best of luck. I wish he was coming back because I think he had a lot to gain from year
hmm
two. He could have been an absolute superstar next year. But, it is what it is. I guess really now, like the biggest kind of question mark as far as like returning players go. I mean, like Lance Ware's said he's coming back, so he's in for sure. But now it's just kind of waiting and seeing if Davion Mintz decides to come back. Um, it's crazy right now because depending on like what you read or what you're listening to, like you hear just different opinions. Oh, he's definitely like gonna be, he's gone. No, he's not gonna come back. And other people, oh, it's like an 80% chance. Like he's returning. He's gonna finish his degree and everything. So I hope he does because I think we could be really really good if he comes back. But that's another one that either way, like I'm not really gonna be surprised one way or the other. It's kind of a coin flip for me. where are you at on that right now? Like, how do you feel about the chances we get him back?
As long as it's been, and we haven't heard a
Yeah,
decision yet, I would say he's probably leaning on coming back.
yeah,
Because I think if he's going to go, I think he'd have already said, "Yeah, I'm going." Um,
yeah.
my guess is he's probably trying to
Um,
figure out, okay, if I want to get further my education, what all
yeah.
do I need to get, and can I get it here?
Well, that was one thing. That was one of the earliest things I'd seen when they started kind of pontificating as to whether or not he would come back. Said he had verbally like expressed interest. I can't remember if it's like a kinesiology degree or what it is that he's getting his master's in, but he's just 1 year. He could come back next year and finish it. So that's a big thing for him. Like he acknowledged, I'll play pro basketball at some level, but like basketball's not my end all be all future. So like education also is important to him. So we'll see. Yeah, it's also me like trying to kind of talk myself into it, but I'm just kind of holding out hope that yeah he does come back because I think he could be a big fixture on the team we have next year. Um, what do you think about Cal kind of just torching the the transfer market right now?
Well, um, I don't know. It's Cal being Cal. He's
Yeah,
torching it right now, but it'd be really easy for him to flip and do a 180.
yeah. I mean, because we're looking at a situation right now, like what I think they've pretty much named Oscar Sheboy like the number one
Hmm.
transfer on the transfer market. Um, the kid at Auburn, Powell, that they're going after that they really want. I think he's either number two or number three, and it looks like that's kind of the approach he's taking right now, especially because like there's really, as far as like high power, like high ranked freshmen, there's really not many left.
Right. My
Um,
only concern is we get.
so it'll be interesting. It sounds like he's like taking a deep dive into the transfer market and just kind of pulling what he can.
Yeah. Like I
Um,
said, what concerns me
I know
is we
they,
have a mint situation where the whole first half of the season, those guys struggle because it's a new system.
yeah,
And then by the
yeah,
later half of the season, we're good. But it does concern me when we get
yeah,
heavy on that for experience.
yeah. I mean that's the thing.
Like Cal needs to start developing his
On the
own
one
players
hand,
to keep here.
yeah, and on the one hand, like if you're gonna bring these guys in, like him saying on his call the other day where he was talking about, I got to stop just going after like super freak athletes that can play positionless basketball and they all are just athletic monsters. Like I need to go get like specialized guys. Like I need to get my big men. I need to get my shooters. Like I need to get guys that can do different things. I'll be curious to see like if he changes up like anything about the style of play or anything this year, this coming year. Because that, like you said, it sounds great to say like, oh well, now he's got, he can just go grab like the best transfers instead of the best one and dones. But like, what if they struggle as much or even more than some of the freshmen do to come in and either play a bigger role than they had been playing elsewhere, or the style play just doesn't mesh up, or
I would like
whatever.
to
I
see
mean,
Cal get back to Cal when he first got here, where we go after
yeah,
one or two of the big time athletic freaks and bring them in. And then the rest of
yeah,
the players are guys that's going to be here at least 2 years. We may be upset with them the
yeah,
first year they're here, but by the time they finish their sophomore year,
mm-hmm,
most of those guys are gone. You might still have one or two come back, and we've had great teams
yeah,
when that's happened because we've always had one or two people there that know the system and that are veterans of the program, so to speak, and that helps out with the
yeah.
younger individuals. We haven't had that in a while.
Well, it's like we've said before, like, you look back at the 2012 team, it's kind of just like the perfect archetype for what a Cal team
Hmm.
should be. Bring in like two or three, like two like star level freshmen, another guy that has potential to be pretty, really good, either in that first or second year, Marcus Teague. Then a few guys coming back that have been there, that can play at a high level. They've bought into the whole system already. So the other guys have room to just kind of tinker around and figure things out, and then, off to the races. 6 or 7 guys, that's how he likes to play anyway. So, yeah, I mean, it stinks because it's been pretty well documented over the last several years, like times we've had not great luck with just, we get guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who comes in, okay, here's our project point guard. He'll be a good backup, like he'll be really good by like his sophomore or junior year. He blows up, he's the starter, and he goes to the NBA and he's doing really well. Like guys like that. So I'm hoping maybe there's a bit of a shift, like where we've got guys like Jacob Toppin and Lance Ware, Devin Askew, that maybe some of these guys are going to stick around for like at least a couple more years, and we can see something like that where he can go get like some big athletic big man and some like really athletic combo guard like wing, and bring them in and say, okay, there you go, like those are the pieces we need to mesh with these guys. We already know what we have with them, let's go.
Yeah, and for all the people that want to sit there and say, oh well, Cal can't develop, Cal can't coach, well, my argument would be, look at all the players who have came back. Look what Kentucky's players are doing in the NBA versus what Duke's players are doing in the NBA, or Kansas's players are doing in the NBA. Kentucky is dominating NBA rosters for a reason. And it's because Cal is getting them ready for that. I think the biggest problem, though, is we get these guys that are for sure one-and-dones, and we're getting too many of them. Like you said,
we're getting too many. We're getting too many of them, and we're getting, like, especially kind of since, like, the Briscoe, like, sophomore year and on, we also get these guys that, like, they come in and they're just not that good, but they just decide to go anyway. Even some of the project-looking guys that look like they should be sticking around for like 3 years, they get to that like year 2, and they're like, yeah, well, but I can't stick around. I gotta go. I mean, it's frustrating.
My biggest thing is, if he can go after a few mid-tier guys, more often than not, our mid-tier guys end up outperforming the other players in the team because they have to fight and earn every minute they have playing under Cal. And they become very good players.
Yeah. Do you think part of that, especially right now where we're seeing, like, you got Justin Powell at Auburn, you've got a few other guys, like at either mid-major or like kind of low-level major schools that are like in-state players who we didn't really give the time of day, who are now playing like well, like even Justin Powell, like he never really got a look from us, and now he's like high on the radar, the guy that they want to come in because he's producing for them. Like, do you think if Cal would start paying more attention to those kind of like in-state talents? I mean, that was another comment he'd made the other day, is he said, like, I need to go get more like Derek Willis's, guys like that, who, like you said, it might take them a year or two to sort of figure it out, but by year 3, like, they're a good contributor, and by senior year, like, they're good, and you can depend on them to do what you need to
I'd
get
like
done.
to see that. The problem is, though, we still run into that problem of, I'm at Kentucky, I need to be a one-and-done.
Yeah.
I'm good enough to go here, I'm good enough to be a one-and-done. And it seems like a lot of these kids have that mentality now. And as bad as I hate to say it, the in-state boys are seeing that as this is my quick trip to the NBA.
Yeah.
And yet, it's not going to be a quick trip for them. I'm not taking anything against our top players in this state, but at the same time, we don't get a lot of any lottery picks out of this state.
No, I mean, and that's the thing, is like, you kind of have like a lightning struck twice kind of thing with like Derek Willis and Dominic Hawkins, to get guys that were as good as they ended up being by the end, coming in like in the same year, which was kind of crazy, and then them sticking it out all the way through. I mean, you could also see kids with that level of skill getting to like year 3 and saying, well, but I don't need to come back for a senior year. Like, if I got to play overseas, I've watched all these guys come through and leave over the past few years. Like, I'm going to. I mean, I could definitely see that happen.
Yeah, and that's the bad thing. 5 years ago, it would be nothing to see a player from Kentucky saying, "Oh, I want to play there, and I will finish my degree there." Don't care one bit.
go all for it.
In that 5-year period, we have went from that to I want it now. I don't want to wait. If they're not getting the minutes, they're going to transfer out and go somewhere they're going to be on the court. They don't see the big picture.
That's the thing too. That's another thing. Like, I'm kind of afraid that the way that I think the new transfer rules and stuff have potential to help us a ton, but at the same time, like we said, you've got potential meshing problems that we'll just have to see how it goes. And then you do have the what if he does, like how much quicker are some of these guys going to be, especially if they're freshmen, whether they're in-state or out-of-state or whatever. If they come in, they don't think Cal's giving them enough playing time, because a lot of times with those dudes, like he picks his 6 or 7 guys and he rolls with that if it works, and the other guys are basically practice players. How many of them, if they don't have to sit out, are going to say, forget it, like, I'll just go somewhere else. I'll go to, like, Missouri or something, and, I'll either start or come off the bench and play a ton. I mean, I feel like it has potential to just throw a lot more turmoil into things, but I think this offseason and then this coming season, like, this is where it's time to really set a precedent, and kind of see how things are going to be. Because it has potential to be really good, but it also has potential to just be, like, head-scratching, like, confusion. Just,
I can see that.
Who knows? Yeah. Is really anything to talk about on the football side of things, or?
Not really. I mean, there's been talks of recruits and stuff like that, but that'll change 15 times between now and the end of summer.
Yeah.
So,
right. As much flip-flopping stuff as there is with all that.
Yeah, we always start off in the top 5 of the SEC, and by the time the season starts, we're one of the worst recruiting teams in the league. Not saying one of the worst, but we're not in that top 3 or 4 anymore.
We descend down the list pretty dramatically.
Yeah, we'll start off at 1 or 2, and the next
out.
thing you know, we're like 5 or 6, and that's about where we stay.
Well, that seems like a yearly thing. Like, every single year, people start getting worked up and like, oh my gosh, we're like 2nd or 3rd in the SEC recruiting class. This is amazing. Okay, give it like 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden, like, Alabama and Auburn and all these other teams, like Georgia, like, solidify their classes and get everybody signed in the spring because they're not worried about losing anybody. And then, boom, there we go. Down.
Yeah, all it takes is, Alabama losing somebody to Ohio State or Clemson, Auburn or LSU, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh, where's that other 5-star at? Oh, he's committed to Kentucky. Okay, get him on the phone.
Yep, just come and poach him. I mean, it is what it is, but...
Yeah, or somebody decides to transfer at the last minute, and Saban's like, okay, who do we go after?
Right.
Hey, who's Kentucky got?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, who did Vince Marrow get for them? Get that guy. Like, pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think that pretty much covers it for any sports stuff for this week. Do you have anything else to add? Or?
No, not really. It's kind of slow. I mean, I guess we got baseball starting. They got gymnastics going. I mean, that kind of stuff. So I haven't really kept up too much with it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've watched some of the NCAA tournament so far. It's been fun. I mean, I watched a bunch of games on Sunday. A lot of upsets, a lot of close games that came down to the wire. Stinks that we're not there, but it's been fun to watch. But yeah. Oh well. Other than that, I think that pretty wraps up the sports side of things for today. We'll be hopping back on either weekly or just like every other week as needed to kind of do these updates whenever things kind of come up with either football, basketball, or whatever else. It's like kind of major newsworthy. But today we're also going to be having another video that debuts. It's going to be hopefully the first of many movie reviews, like movie TV sort of reviews that we're going to do to kind of get us through the off-season, kind of change things up. So definitely check that out as well. That should be a lot of fun. I think we're both looking forward to just mixing things up a little bit and, letting our hair down a little bit, not talking about depressing sports stuff. Just have fun talking about what turned out to be a pretty good movie. So, yeah, unless you have anything else, I think that pretty much sums things
Just hit
up.
that like, subscribe button, and leave some comments, we'll try to get back to you. So.
Absolutely. Yep, love hearing from everybody. So, till next time, check out the first movie review coming up, and we'll see you next time.